don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this on YouTube. Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily and I am your number one romance girly. Guys, I'm a bit late, but it is my May monthly wrap up. So this is all the books that I read in May and what I thought, what I rated them, whether I think you should read them. So yeah, I am pretty late to filming this, so I'm hoping that I can remember what the books were about, but I'm going to try my best for you guys. Okay, so the first book that I read in May was Riftborn. Now I was so excited to read this book, guys, because I think I remember telling you in my May TBR that this book was like compared to Rebecca Yarros, Sarah J Maas, and I think that's where we went wrong with this one, because that is some big names to live up to and I just don't feel like it did. If I'm honest with you, this was the first book I read in May and I cannot remember it. It was just not memorable to me. From what I can remember, it was like just very stereotypical romantasy. Nothing really stood out to me. Yeah, so from what I can remember, I enjoyed the second half of this a lot more than the first half. However, I think I struggled with this one because there wasn't much time where the main characters were together, and obviously I'm a romance girly. I need my romance in my books. So yeah, I think from what I can remember, they get together like quite near the end of the book. Although from what I can remember, I think the ending was really good because it's romantic, isn't it? The plot twists are always given. So I think I probably will pick up the next one, but this one I wasn't that invested in. Sorry, that's probably not the best review, is it? But I really can't remember it. It really wasn't that memorable. So that's that one, and I rated it 4 stars. I feel like my 4 stars are a bit meh. Maybe I should have rated it 3, but I remember the ending was quite good, so 4 stars. Okay, the next book that I read in May was The Chain. I was so excited for this book, guys, and it was awful. Well, no, it wasn't awful, but I feel like I had such high hopes and it just didn't live up to the high hopes. It was exactly what it says on the tin. So the only way to get your child back is to kidnap another child. So that's where the chain comes in, that as soon as your child gets kidnapped, you then have to kidnap another child, and then that person needs to kidnap another child. Do you know what I mean? I rated this 2 stars. Again, I don't know if it's because I just had really high hopes and it just didn't live up to the expectation, but basically our main character is trying to stop the chain. So if this did have a plot twist in it, I don't know if you can even call it a plot twist because it wasn't shocking. In fact, it was kind of hinted throughout the whole book who the leader of the chain is, like who's controlling it. So yeah, I wasn't shocked and I was a bit bored at times. So yeah, 2 stars. Okay, the next book that I read was Furybound, which I was very excited about because I absolutely love Direbound, and this one let me down as well, guys. This one let me down as well. I'm not having a good month so far, am I? So yeah, I rated this one 3 stars. This had a lot of politics in it, which isn't my favourite, as you know. I'm here for the romance, and for me there wasn't enough in it, and I'm not saying like spicy scenes, I just mean tension. I just don't feel like there was enough in it for me. And also the ending, I feel like, I don't want to give too much away because obviously if you want to read it, but I feel like the ending was so out of the blue because it's kind of like building up to like this battle, again without going into too much detail and ruining it for you. Yeah, I feel like it's building up to this battle. I felt like the battle was over in like 2 seconds. I was like, we've built the whole book up for that, and then the last chapter was like, what? I know that's really not going to make sense unless you've read it yourself, but I don't want to give too much away if you haven't read it. However, I loved Direbound, so will I read the 3rd one? Probably, because you know I have FOMO, but I did not rate this one that much, but I think that's an unpopular opinion. As I said, I'm a romance girly. If you enjoy the politics of romantasy, fantasy, then I feel like you'll enjoy this a lot more than I did. I'm not here for the war, I'm here for the love, you know? I'm here for the love. Romance, girly. Okay, the next book that I read was an ARC that I was lucky enough to receive, and that was Because of Your Love by JJ Cross. I really enjoyed this book, guys. I gave it 4 stars. This one follows our female main character who is split up with her ex-boyfriend. From the very beginning, you kind of like are hinting that her ex-boyfriend did something really bad or something's happened, and the whole time I was like, what's happened? What did he do? Like, I need to know. And then, yeah, so it's kind of her recovering from that trauma. And then enter our male main character, who is Nate, who is her, this is where it gets confusing, it's her best friend's new husband's brother. Did you keep up with me? So yeah, it's all like sort of like found family and healing from trauma. I really enjoyed it. However, if I was going to criticize it at all, it would be that the female main character came across as quite whiny at times. But if you can look past that, I definitely recommend this because this was a good read. Also, this book was the 3rd in the series, so I didn't know that going into it, but I feel like you didn't really need to read the other books. It was kind of like, well, I'm assuming it's interconnected because I didn't feel like I was missing out not reading the other 2. So yeah. Okay, the next series that I read was Priest, Saint and Sinner. No, Priest, Sinner and Saint, that's it. Okay, so these books are all interconnected standalones. They're all about different brothers. So the first one, yeah, these books are spicy, guys. I was warned that they were spicy, however, these were very spicy. So the first one obviously follows a priest who is the first brother. This one I rated 3 stars. It was okay. However, I didn't feel like there was much of a storyline. I feel like the characters were very much just lusting over each other. Was there much romance? Not really. It literally was just like, you're fit, I want to sleep with you. However, if you like spice, this was something else. This was something else. Like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this on YouTube. That's how spicy this one was. Like, I'm talking using holy oils. I'm talking doing certain activities on the altar. And obviously he's a priest, so he's meant to be celibate. So yeah, it's all of like that kind of battle of wanting to be naughty but not being able to. So yeah, if you're not a massive, well, not that you're not a romance person, but like you're there for the spice and the smut, I'd recommend this book. However, if you're not and you're more of a romance person, you need more story, then I probably wouldn't recommend this series, to be honest with you. The next book is Sinner. So I enjoyed this one a little bit more because it had a bit more of a storyline to it. So he isn't involved in being a priest or like the church and God and stuff, but he falls for a want-to-be nun. She's like in, I don't know what the word is. She's training to be a nun and it is his best friend's sister. So there is more of a storyline to this one. However, I still rated it 3 stars. It still wasn't that memorable to me. But again, very spicy. And also, if you wanted to read this one without reading like Priest or any of the other ones, then you can, because I don't feel like you're really going to miss out on much if you do that. And then the last one is Saint, and I enjoyed this one the most out of all of them. I rated this one 4 stars. So this one again is about another brother, which again I kind of felt like was a bit unrealistic. Like 3 brothers is kind of involved in like the church in some way or another. I don't know. This one, the brother has broken up with his partner and has gone to be a monk. So he's in, I don't know what they call it, but he's going to be a monk. Well, he is a monk. I think this is like 4 years on from the breakup of him wanting to be a monk. His partner really doesn't ever get over him, so he goes to see him in being a monk. I don't know what the word is. The monastery? I don't know. He goes to visit him and he wants to know why he left his whole life to be a monk, basically. Elijah is the partner. So Elijah comes to visits, Aidan, who is the monk, to see why Aidan left Elijah in the first place. I really enjoyed this one. Again, this one had a lot more of a storyline than just lust. I really enjoyed this one, 4 stars. Okay, the next 2 books again were ARC reads for me. So they were Intercepted and Rushed by Aletha Romeg. These books were so good, guys. I'm talking, if you liked In Her Own League by Liz Tomfordy, you need to get on these. Like, almost the same kind of vibes. So the female main character's family owns the American football team, so a bit like Reese in Liz Tomfordy's book, and then she has history with the new quarterback. They were together in high school and now her family have hired him to be on the team as the quarterback. I loved this series, and this series, every single book, well, I say every single book, there's only 2 books, ended on such a cliffhanger. Aletha Romeg knows how to throw out a cliffhanger. I love these books and I cannot wait for the 3rd one because the 2nd one ended on such a cliffhanger. I rated both of these 4 stars. Okay, the next book that I read in May was The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. I feel like every month I'm falling more and more in love with Kristin Hannah, guys. This book, I knew this book was going to be good. However, I just love historical fiction because I don't know, I've just never read it before, so I just kind of assumed that I wouldn't like it because I usually need romance in a story for me to pick it up. And although Kristin Hannah kind of does have romance in her books, that isn't like the main plot of her books. I loved this book. This like really put me back to World War II and everything that was going on. This is heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. So this goes into quite heavy detail on the kind of things that people were going through. So if you're not into, well, obviously no one's into like torture and things like that, but if you really don't like that kind of stuff, then I wouldn't recommend this book because it was pretty brutal. And we're talking obviously like Germany and like the Holocaust and all that kind of stuff. If you're very sensitive to that, then I wouldn't recommend this, if I'm honest. However, all this kind of stuff really intrigues me and I love history about that kind of stuff, so I absolutely loved this book and I would definitely recommend it. It follows 2 sisters, and although they're sisters, they have completely different journeys. I don't want to give too much away about this, but I really enjoyed it, so I would definitely recommend. 5 stars, obviously. Okay, the next book is another ARC, and that is Into the Fading Twilight by Catherine Cowles. I was so lucky to receive this as an ARC. Like, I actually can't believe that I was lucky enough to receive this book, guys, because obviously I read the first one, which I got here, which is Across the Vanishing Sky. I enjoyed this book. Again, I talked about this in one of my other reading wrap-ups. This is the first series by Catherine Cowles I've read, so I don't know if all of her series are like this, but it's kind of like romance mixed with thriller and mystery. So I really enjoyed this. So in this one, a girl goes missing and her friend is trying to find out where she is, what's happened to her. Whereas Into the Fading Twilight is the friend's point of view. So like kind of what happens to her and how she gets over that trauma. I really enjoyed this one a lot more than the first one. I don't know if that's because I just prefer twisted storylines, clearly. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. If you liked the first one, I can't see why you wouldn't like this one, to be honest with you. Obviously, I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to give the storyline away. This one I rated 4 stars. Loved it. Okay, the next book I read, I finally got around to it, guys. I read To Cage a Wild Bird. Why did I put this book off for so long? I loved this book so much. Like, I ate it up. I absolutely loved every second of it. Do you know why this really stood out to me? Because it's a romantasy, but it's not like anything I've read before, which I just love it when a book stands out. Do you know what I mean? So this one specifically is like dystopian and is about a prison where if you get sent to the prison, it kind of gets turned into like a Hunger Games where people come to visit the prison and they're allowed to like hunt the prisoners, which I just thought was so different. I loved this idea. So yeah, they get like, I don't know how long it is they get, but they have to like race to this tree, and if they touch the tree then they're safe, otherwise they can be shot or hunted down. by people that come and visit the prison, and it's like a whole experience. So the people that come to visit the prison, like they've got a gift shop, a fun day out at the fair or something. It's so bizarre, but I absolutely loved this book so much, guys. So our female main character, her brother gets sent into the prison. She is like, I need to get him out. She does something bad to purposely go in the prison to get her brother out, basically, and she ends up falling for one of the guards that works in prison. I love this so much. Like, I cannot recommend this book anymore. I loved it. And the ending, I need the next one like now. I don't know when the next one comes out, but I need it now because I need to know. I just need to know. Definitely recommend this book. I gave it 5 stars. Loved it, if that wasn't obvious. Okay, the next book I read was another ARC, and that is A Little Bit Obsessed by Chrissy Hopewell. Guys, if you like the show Dexter, or the book, I haven't read the books, but I've watched the series. Dexter, who is like a serial killer that hunts other serial killers or like bad people, mixed with a rom-com, you need to read this book. Oh my goodness, I kind of loved it. Like, it's so not serious but serious at the same time. I ate this up. I just thought it was so good. So the female main character wants to divorce her husband. However, her husband has vanished. So she gets into contact with this, I don't know if she knows he's a serial killer, but like she thinks that he can hunt her husband down. So she gets into contact with him, and they kind of like form a very toxic relationship. But it's really funny because obviously he's like a stalker and he's a serial killer, but I don't think she knows he's a serial killer at that point. So he's like stalking her. He obviously fancies her. He's stalking her. She's like, oh, I feel really protected that he's stalking me. And I'm like, that is toxic. But I just found that so funny. And like, he's like, none of my other relationships have worked out in the past because I'm a stalker and I stalk my girlfriends to make sure they're okay. Whereas she's like, oh, I feel so protected. Like, I love that he's watching me all the time, which I just thought was so funny. Like, it's just comedy, but like, not common. Well, yeah, it is comedy, but like there is heavy subjects in this, such as serial killing, etc, etc. I love it. Like, I actually couldn't recommend this anymore. I actually rated it 4 stars, but now that I'm talking about it, I feel like it could be a 4.5. Like, I really enjoyed this book, guys. Definitely recommend. And I believe it's on Kindle Unlimited, so if you've got Kindle and Kindle Unlimited, please read this book and tell me what you thought, because loved it. Okay, and the last book that I read in May was Don't Fall in Love with Me by Paige Toon. I can always count on a Paige Toon to just be a palate cleanser, you know? However, this book surprised me, ate it up. Absolutely loved every second of this book. So this follows our female main character who, her grandma, grandparent, nan, grandma, lives in France, and she goes and spends her summers in France with her grandma. Her grandma is best friends with someone who lives like across the street from them, who happens to be a granddad, and his grandson also comes out every summer to spend the summers there. So they end up all hanging out together. Her and the boy, the grandson of, you know what I'm saying? No, I don't even know what I'm saying. The female main character and the grandson of the house that lives across the road, they obviously grow really close. They're kind of like childhood best friends. However, they only see each other in the summer. So he's got his own life in New York and she lives in England, I believe. So they obviously, every summer they get closer and closer, and it gets to the point where she's like, surely he's going to make a move at some point. And then one summer he brings his, I don't think it's his girlfriend, but his friend from New York. Like, sorry, they're meant to be together. Why is he bringing this other girl? No. So yeah, it's kind of like she obviously really fancies him and it's not really working out. I don't want to go into too much detail, but she meets a French guy out there and he's like, do you know what, should we try and make this guy jealous and maybe he'll be interested in you? So it's giving love triangle, and I loved every second. 4.5 stars. Absolutely loved it. So that is all the books that I read in the month of May, guys. I'm very sorry that this video is late going up for you guys, and I'm sorry because I feel like I can't remember. I read so much I can't remember unless it was really, really good. So I need to get better at that, let's be honest. I hope that this video helps in some way, whether it's to add new books to your TBRs or put you off certain books maybe, but obviously don't take my word as gospel. Just because I loved a book, you may not like it, and just because I hated a book, you may love it, you know? It's opinions at the end of the day. I really hope that you guys had a good reading month in May. Please let me know your top reads of May, and do I need to add them to my TBR, even though my TBR is getting out of control as it is. Obviously we're halfway through June now, so I hope that your June reading month is going well as well, and I will get back to you in a couple of weeks time for our June reading wrap up. And then we're halfway through the year, guys. That is crazy. Maybe I should do like a halfway checkpoint of like my top reads or something like that. Let me know if that is something that you're interested in, and I will definitely do that for you guys. And I need to get better at filming these videos for you guys, because I mean my goal was 2 videos a week and I'm definitely not doing that right now, so I really need to get on that. Unfortunately, life just gets in the way sometimes, you know, but I really enjoy my monthly TBRs and my monthly read and wrap ups, so if nothing else you will definitely get these videos from me because I love doing them, and I love watching them as well, because then you pick up ideas of like what books you might want to read. As normal, if you've made it this far, then I appreciate you so much. If you could like and comment and subscribe and do all those fun things and join the family, that would be great, and that would mean the absolute world to me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.